Thank you, Kimberly. Welcome to the annual meeting of the Atlantic Avenue Healthcare Property Holding Corporation. We met a year ago on or about April 10, and we will go through an agenda that contains 5 items. The General Counsel is going to walk us through the substance of the meeting. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, we will note the attendance of the same board members from the DASNY board meeting, which just concluded, and also include the reading of the public notice of telephonic meeting from that meeting conformed to the Atlantic Avenue Healthcare Property Holding Corporation. The first item on the agenda is a resolution which does 2 things, elects officers for the year and ratifies the prior policy resolution that the board adopted for Atlantic Avenue on December 11th, 2013. First, with respect to the election of officers, Kim Ellis and Kim Nadeau have requested 1 minor modification to the resolution that is before the board to also elect Stanley Reed as an assistant treasurer to provide additional coverage and capacity. Subject to comments from the board, I have no legal objections to this request and am comfortable with the proposed addition. Otherwise, before the board for consideration is a combined resolution addressing both of these matters. At the December 11th, 2013 organizational meeting for Atlantic Avenue, the Atlantic Avenue Board did adopt as its own all of the policies and procedures and guidelines of DASNY that are required by statute to be adopted by the corporation, and all references in such DASNY policies, procedures, and guidelines are deemed to refer to the corporation to the extent applicable to the lawful purposes of the corporation. As this resolution is required on an annual basis, staff is recommending that the board adopt the resolution with the amendment that Stanley Reed be also included as an elected assistant treasurer. Mr. Chairman.
Mike, thank you. Are there questions for Mike? There being none, may I have a motion, please, to approve the resolution?
I'll move it, Johnson.
John, thank you very much. Second?
Joan Sullivan.
Joan, thank you. All in favor, please indicate with aye.
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 Aye. Are there any opposed? Then the motion carries unanimously. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Second item in the package is a copy of the draft minutes of the April 10th, 2019 meeting of the Atlantic Avenue Subsidiary Board, which require review and approval of the board. If there are no questions or comments on the minutes, I will turn it over to the chair for a motion to adopt.
Are there questions? Hearing none, is there any objection to the minutes? Hearing none, the motion that I am going to make right now will carry unanimously. May I have a motion to approve?
I'll move. Ms. Barrow.
Thank you, Beryl. Is there a second?
Second. It's John.
John, thank you very much. There being no opposition, the motion carries unanimously. We now go over to the mission statement. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pursuant to the New York Public Authorities Law, the Atlantic Avenue Subsidiary Board is required to annually review and approve the mission statement, performance measures, and metrics for the subsidiary. At the March 3rd, 2020 Subsidiary Governance Committee meeting, the committee reviewed these materials and concurred with staff's recommendations that no further changes be made to the mission statement, performance measures, and metrics at this time, and recommended approval of same to the full subsidiary board. Subject to any comments from the board today, staff recommends a motion to this effect to complete this annual review.
May I have a motion, please?
So moved,
I'll
Johnson.
move. This is Barrow.
Thank you. Well, Beryl, you're the second. John is the
Okay,
move on.
great.
All in favor, please indicate with aye.
Aye.
And
Aye.
I hear none opposed. Is there opposition? Hearing no opposition, the motion carries unanimously. Mike.
Next item on the agenda is the annual review of the subsidiary bylaws, which are also required to be reviewed and approved annually under the New York Public Authorities Law. At the March 3rd, 2020 Governance Committee meeting, the Governance Committee reviewed these materials and concurred with staff's recommendation that no further changes be made to the bylaws at this time and recommended approval to the full subsidiary board. Subject to any comments from the board today, staff recommends the adoption of a motion to this effect to complete this annual review.
Mike, thank you. May I have a motion, please, to approve the bylaws?
So moved.
Is that
Second,
you,
Joan
John
Sullivan.
Johnson?
Yep.
Thank you, John, and thank you, Joan, for the second. All in favor? Aye.
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 As I hear no opposition, the motion carries unanimously. And finally, Mike, are you going to describe the report of the president?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. The last item on the agenda is the annual report of the subsidiary's president, which is included in the board materials. The Atlantic Avenue subsidiary was formed as part of the approved 2014 bankruptcy reorganization plan for Interfaith Medical Center to take title to Interfaith's real property following the default by Interfaith on its bond and loan agreements with DASNY. Bondholders continue to be paid by the state of New York for any deficiencies in principal and interest payments pursuant to the state service contract authorized in the Secured Hospital Statute for this particular safety net provider. While efforts to improve sustainability are ongoing, the restructuring of Interfaith, which we refer to as New IMC, remains highly dependent on state support, and staff expects this situation to continue this fiscal year. At present, New IMC is working on two priorities. First, the transformation plan it and two other Kings County hospitals are pursuing under the One Brooklyn Health Systems banner, and second, Governor Cuomo's Vital Brooklyn program, which involves New IMC and 4 properties in the Atlantic Avenue portfolio. The OBHS transformation plan is largely funded by the state's $700 million Kings County Healthcare Facility Transformation Program, Capital Grant Program, set forth in statute at Public Health Law 2825-A. OBHS and its member hospitals continue to work on the 3 priorities of this plan, which generally are the establishment of a 30-site ambulatory care network, an integrated IT system which will standardize clinical and patient accounting applications throughout all inpatient and ambulatory care sites in the One Brooklyn Health System, including New IMC, and, as funding allows, facility investments to support clinical restructuring of the member hospitals, also including New IMC. Vital Brooklyn, on the other hand, is a comprehensive policy initiative of the Cuomo administration intended to break down barriers to health and well-being in an area of Brooklyn with measurably higher rates of obesity, diabetes, and high blood pressure by, among other things, improving access to healthy food sources, quality, affordable housing, opportunities for physical activity, and high-quality health care and mental health services. In combination with special legislation passed last year and referenced in the President's report, DASNY staff is working with DHCR, DOH, the Division of Budget, and other state officials on the potential transformation of 4 Atlantic Avenue properties off the main hospital campus, pursuant to a plan to increase access and quality of healthcare services and preventative care and create affordable housing in central Brooklyn. This plan is subject to approval of DHCR, DOH, and DOB, in accordance with the special legislation. DHCR has issued requests for proposals and is evaluating responses. And as noted in the report, we will likely come back to the Atlantic Avenue Board within the next year with more details while seeking any necessary board approvals to convey real property pursuant to this legislative authorization. Both initiatives are works in progress, and staff will continue to monitor and support the Department of Health, the HCR, DOB, and the administration in these efforts. Craig Schreibvogel and Dina Amodio are present, and we'd be happy to take any questions. If there are no questions, that concludes our report and the agenda for this meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Michael, thank you very much. That was very comprehensive. This does not require a vote of the board. Is there any other business to come before this board? Hearing none, may I have a motion, please, to adjourn the meeting?
I will move, Ms. Farrell.
Thank you, Beryl. Is there a second?
Second,
Second.
Jones.
Joan, thank you very much. All in favor, please indicate with aye.
Aye.
As there is no opposition, the meeting is adjourned. Mike, thank you.
You're welcome.
If